Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Recently, my husband inherited some money, and we started calling it our money, but when it came time to decide where this should go, he kind of, let's say, put his foot down and decided that it should be invested as opposed to paying down our mortgage.
How much money?
And so the total that was eventually invested was about $140,000.
Okay.
We are on technically step 6, looking to, we are debt free. Our kids are all set with their 529s, and there's money set aside elsewhere. We're contributing to our 401ks and our Roth.
How much do you guys have invested, or how much did you have invested? Well, let me stop for a second. Have you already invested the 140, or is this just something he said, this is what we're going to do?
So we did it.
You already did
it. It's in there. And I disagreed. I wanted to pay down the mortgage, and I'm just struggling with that.
I get it. So we'll get to that in a second. So let me just ask.
That without me.
Can you tell me what that looked like when you said he put his foot down? And what did that look like? Did that look like him going and doing that without telling you? Tell us how that happened.
We definitely did it jointly. I'm not a fighter, so I said I'd really love to put it towards the mortgage, and he said, well, I'd really love to invest it. And then we looked at each other, and he goes, so we're investing it, right? And he
and that was that?
Like trumped me a little bit.
How long ago was that?
This was about 2 weeks ago.
All right, so real quick, before we get into that.
Accounts
hold on 1 second.
Good.
All right, so here's what I want to know. We'll get into that in a second, because this is a relationship issue, not a money issue. But I'm just curious.
Yeah.
How much was in the retirement accounts before you put the 140 in?
So there is a separate investment account that we started. So in his 401k, his retirement account, he has about $450,000.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I have about $250,000. We're just at different contribution rates, and
That's
he's
fine.
a little bit
That's
older
great.
than me.
And how old is he, and how old are you?
He is 53, and I am 46.
Okay. So you guys were at about $600,000 in your separate accounts, and now we created a separate investment fund with the 140 in it. Is that correct?
Correct.
How much
both of our names on it?
Right.
Good.
How much is left on the house?
About $300,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Jade, the reason I'm asking all these things is I just think all we can provide here is perspective. Number one, because this is a relationship issue. You guys are in great shape. I can see.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this. I can see why he did what he did.
I can too.
And I can also see why you wanted him to put it on the house.
Yes.
You're almost cutting it in half.
Financially speaking, nothing is broken because
not
this
at all.
decision was made.
That's right.
On either, if you guys had put it towards the house, yes, that's in keeping with the baby steps, and that's what I would have advised you to do. By investing it, nothing broke. You guys are in a great situation. To Ken's point, this is a relational thing. It didn't sound malicious the way you talked about it. It felt a little dismissive, but if I might add, I think it was dismissive on both ends. I think that he dismissed you when you initially brought it up, but I also think you dismissed yourself if you didn't bring it up again more intently. And so for that reason, I do think let's figure out what's at the core of both of those sides.
I agree, and maybe it's because technically the inheritance was to him. So I almost felt as if like, okay, well, his opinion should matter just a little bit more.
I could see
than
that.
Mine.
I could totally understand that.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying that's right, but I can understand your way of thinking.
Is he opposed to paying the house off?
No, but I don't think he I have a different urgency. He wants to retire in 8 years, and I'm only making two extra. I sound like a snob when I say this, and I'm very sorry. I'm only making 2 extra payments on our mortgage every year. And I feel like we could do more to pay off the mortgage so that I wouldn't have a mortgage.
Right. And I think
when
that's
he
the
retires.
conversation. When I say that this is a relational thing, I agree with Jade. I think you got to go back to him and go, hey, well, two things. Number one, I love that you called us, and I love that you admitted that you're resenting him right now. I think that's important that you're expressing those feelings, and I'm guessing you've expressed that to him, and I think you should. I really think you should say, hey, I'm struggling with this, and I'm resenting you, and I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we got to get together, whether that's with a therapist or a pastor, or if you two have a great relationship. This is just a chill conversation. It's not a big fight because, as Jade said so beautifully, nothing's broken here, other than feelings are hurt. And I think most of the feelings are on your side, and I think you got to address that. So here's what I would do. I would say, I understand what you did. I need to get this out, but I want you to understand why I'm resenting and what's going on underneath this. I'm not going to resent you anymore, but I need you to know that I'm fearful. I'm fearful with this mortgage hanging over our head and not being gone 8 years from now when you plan to retire. Can we please talk through this? I just need you to know why I'm feeling what I'm feeling. Jay, do you agree? I think that's the approach here.
Yeah, I think 100%. I think Ken covered it. And just based on the way you're talking about it, I do think that you probably stepped lightly, maybe a little too lightly.
I agree.
Yeah.
And this is, the truth is you are in a marriage. What's his is yours and what's yours is his. And you both get to make this decision together. That is the truth. In a healthy marriage, that is the way that should work.
That's a good point. Are you going anywhere, Annie? You going anywhere? Are you going to leave him?
No.
Is he
no,
gonna,
no.
Is he going to leave you?
No.
Okay. I know that was I know you're chuckling, but do you know why I asked that question? That's the perspective you got to take off this call. We're in this for the long haul.
Yeah, this is just a little hiccup.
We're going to be okay.
But there was no wrong answer, right?
No.
There was
No, nothing messed you up. You're still on a course to succeed. You are going to pay the house off, and the intensity level is determined by the two of you when you have that conversation.
Yeah. Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.